2013 Global Slavery Index places 4 of the top 10 worst offending countries in West Africa. In the next half hour, the CNN Freedom Project travels across the region to investigate and examine the root causes, often economic and sometimes societal, that account for this problem. We'll talk to the victims, activists, and government leaders to shine a light on Africa's most distressing secret, that slavery is still alive and thriving. Centuries ago, along the coast of West Africa, ships appearing along the horizon brought an understandable sense of fear. I'm Vladimir Duthier in the Gambia. The first slave ships arrived here in the 15th century. At the height of the slave trade, it's estimated that nearly 1 in 6 West Africans taken as slaves came from the area where I'm standing right now, the Gambia. It's about 5,000 to 6,000 human beings every year. Many people like to think of slavery only in terms of pictures like these, and only to be found in history books. But look at these figures. Almost 12 million Africans were brought to the Americas during the 400-year period of the transatlantic slave trade. Compare that to a 2012 report by the International Labor Organization, which figures nearly 21 million people are living in slavery right now. And that, they say, is a conservative estimate. Of course, in modern times, it's not easy to find slavery in West Africa or anywhere else for that matter. Every country has a law banning slavery, which means that the practice has gone underground. But I recently met a journalist in Ghana determined to bring these dark business dealings to light. A daylight rescue operation. Ghanaian police swarm a compound belonging to suspected child traffickers. Within minutes, the suspects are under arrest. The children taken to a safe house. Authorities say children held captive here were repeatedly beaten, denied access to doctors and an education, and for the underage girls, forced into marriage. I went to the office of the man who spent weeks undercover in the traffickers' camp. His name is Anas Aremeyahu Anas, a journalist turned activist. Anas is famous in Ghana for his undercover exposés of crime and corruption, but only close friends and associates knows what he really looks like. He's seen in public only in disguise, which is why we are not going to show you his face, because he says that would jeopardize his work. Now, he's on a crusade to bring attention to the scourge of human trafficking plaguing Ghana.
Traffickers have found the country as a very stable place to do their business.
Researching this story, I read a report from the United Nations saying 68% of trafficked victims in Africa and the Middle East are children. And a U.S. State Department report says Ghana is a country of origin, transit, and destination for trafficked men, women, and children. More than a third of Ghanaians live on just $1.25 per day, below the global poverty line. In rural areas, poverty is even more extreme. Historically, some parents in Ghana choose to send away their children as apprentices to get an education or learn a skill like fishing or farming. But traffickers have found a way to exploit that. These children, some as young as 10, soon find themselves in horrific, often brutal conditions with no way out. It happened to this 15-year-old boy. He doesn't want us to show his face on camera. He was just 13 when he says his parents gave him to a woman whose name he never knew. Days later, he and other boys were handed over to the owners of a farm.
Sir, this job, you haven't done it before, so how are we going to do these things? And he said the woman sell us to them.
When he said that, what did you think?
We start crying, and we asked him that so we will not go back again. And he said, this is end of us.
The teenager says he doesn't think he was in Ghana, but he's not sure. One thing he is sure of, life on the farm was hell.
Every day we are going to the farm. They will be beating you, you will be working, they will be beating you, you will not eat. You will not rest too. But if you don't do it too, if the man come to the farm owner, the allergy, he will beat you, rough and slap you. So if you can't do nothing, whether you are hungry or not, you will do the work. Even if you sick, you will go to farm. They will not buy you medicine.
He tried to escape several times. They caught you again.
They come again. This one, they want to kill us.
He says because the owner of the farm was away, his life was spared. After 3 years, he finally managed to get away. He was taken to the Ghanaian embassy and then back to Ghana.
They think I was dead or something happened to me. So the time that I came back, they were happy to see me. They were happy to see me.
It's not just boys and young men. Anas says there's a vast criminal network in place to exploit women and girls too. Often it's for sex. Traffickers entice them or their parents with offers of an all-expense-paid trip abroad and the promise of jobs, modeling careers, and lots of money.
But when you come, your passports are seized. Yes, you come, everything will be seized from you. All your numbers to communicate with your parents are all seized.
Without a passport or money, they're forced into prostitution to pay off the traffickers. And that can take years.
There's been some cases where it's getting closer to those years, and then those girls even end up dying because they get killed.
They kill them?
Yes, they kill them.
I know prostitution is illegal in Ghana, so I drive around town one evening with a children's rights activist to see if it's as out in the open as Anas claims.
Look at the girl to your right now, standing with her belly open. You know, this girl is maybe 14, 15. There's a lot of prostitution here in this particular area, and as it gets later into the night, you will see younger girls standing here, and men coming and picking them up.
Picking them up in their cars.
They're picking them up in their cars. They're picking them up on the streets. There are little hotels that cater to this by the hour. There was Soldier Bar, actually here before a brothel, where more than 60 girls got rescued, 60 children actually got rescued from. That just close to here as well, where men would stay in queues and just pay approximately at that time about $2. $2 to have sex with a child.
You found 8, 9-year-old girls
from Nigeria. In fact, I'm not talking about 10 or 20. I'm talking about in the area of 80s and 100s.
We went to meet Ghana's Minister for Gender, Children, and Social Protection, Nana Oye Lether. Are there brothels where you can find young children that are prostitutes?
Yes, I'm aware that I have actually visited one in Tema. We don't have the complete picture. We know that there are brothels where young children are operating. The other problem is, how do we address this? I have given an order, a directive for a brothel to be demolished. It's been 1 month. It has not been done.
But Lether insists the Ghanaian government is committed to wiping out trafficking and child prostitution. She now chairs the Human Trafficking Management Board